When we look at a tree, we often see only what is visible: the trunk, the branches, and the leaves moving in the wind. But beneath that quiet appearance is a world of incredible activity. A tree is not an inactive object standing still. It is a living system constantly exchanging information, energy, water, and chemical signals with the environment around it. Every tree is a biological network. Inside its trunk and branches, thousands of processes are happening every second. Water travels from the roots to the highest leaves through microscopic pathways. Nutrients move through different parts of the plant. Cells communicate with each other to respond to changes in temperature, sunlight, insects, and environmental conditions. A tree may look silent, but it is constantly working to survive. One of the most fascinating discoveries in plant science is that trees have their own forms of communication. They do not communicate in the same way humans do, using words and sounds, but they exchange information through chemical signals and underground networks. Through their roots and connections with fungi in the soil, trees can participate in complex relationships that help them share resources and respond to challenges. This hidden world beneath our feet shows us that nature is far more connected than it appears. A forest is not simply a collection of individual trees. It is a living community where organisms interact and influence one another. Every tree is part of a larger system that has developed over millions of years. Scientists have also studied the electrical activity of plants. Like all living organisms, trees contain electrical signals that help coordinate biological functions. These signals are not the same as human thoughts or emotions, but they show that plants are active, responsive systems. They react to their surroundings, adjust their growth, and respond to changes in their environment. When a person touches a tree, they are interacting with this living system. The experience is simple, but it creates a moment of awareness. You feel the texture of the bark, notice the temperature of the surface, and become connected with something that follows a completely different rhythm from modern human life. Humans often move at a very fast pace. We are surrounded by instant communication, constant notifications, and the pressure to always be productive. Trees represent the opposite rhythm. They grow slowly, adapt patiently, and exist in cycles that are connected to seasons and natural patterns. This difference in pace may be one reason why people often describe feeling peaceful when spending time around trees. A forest environment encourages slower attention. Instead of rushing from one task to another, the mind begins to observe, listen, and become more present. The relationship between humans and trees is not based on a single mysterious force. It is based on thousands of years of interaction between living systems. Trees influence the air we breathe, the environments we live in, and the landscapes that shape our experiences. They are part of the biological world that supports human life. Touching a tree every day can be seen as a small reminder of this connection. It reminds us that we are not separate from nature, we are part of it. Behind every piece of bark is a story of survival, adaptation, and life continuing through countless generations. The next time you place your hand on a tree, remember that you are not touching something empty or motionless. You are touching a living organism with a hidden world of activity happening beneath the surface. And that simple moment can remind us of one important truth: nature is not just around us. Nature is something we are deeply connected to. The human brain is constantly changing based on the environment around it. Every sound we hear, every place we visit, and every experience we have sends information to the brain. In the modern world, many of these signals come from screens, traffic, deadlines, and constant information. Our brains are designed to handle challenges, but when stress becomes continuous, it can affect how we think, feel, and respond to everyday life. This is where nature becomes interesting. A simple walk among trees or a few quiet moments outside can create a completely different type of environment for the brain. Instead of overwhelming the senses with artificial stimulation, natural spaces provide gentle signals that encourage attention, relaxation, and mental recovery. Have you ever noticed how your mind feels different when you sit under a tree, walk through a park, or spend time surrounded by nature. Problems that seemed overwhelming may suddenly feel easier to manage. Thoughts may become clearer. Creativity may appear when you stop forcing yourself to think. This change happens because the brain works differently when it is given a chance to slow down. One important concept scientists study is how nature affects attention. Throughout the day, our brains use energy to focus on tasks, solve problems, and filter distractions. This type of concentration is useful, but it can become exhausted. Natural environments provide a different kind of attention. Instead of demanding constant effort, nature gently captures our focus through movement, patterns, colors, sounds, and textures. The shape of tree branches, the movement of leaves, the sound of wind, and the changing patterns of sunlight create a type of effortless attention. The brain does not need to fight to stay focused. It can relax while still remaining engaged with the environment. Nature also plays an important role in emotional balance. Human beings are deeply connected to their surroundings, and our environment can influence our mood. A stressful environment can keep the brain in a state of alertness, while a calming environment can help create feelings of peace and stability. Touching a tree adds another layer to this experience. It combines the benefits of being outdoors with the calming effect of physical contact. The texture of the bark, the feeling of standing still, and the act of focusing on the present moment create an opportunity to disconnect from mental noise. Many people spend their days trapped in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. A simple interaction with nature encourages the brain to return to the present. You are no longer thinking about hundreds of unfinished tasks. You are simply noticing the moment you are in. This connection with nature may also support creativity. Some of history's greatest ideas have appeared during moments of walking, observing, and quiet reflection. When the brain is not overloaded with constant distractions, it has more space to make connections between different ideas. The goal is not to escape modern life completely. Technology, science, and progress are valuable parts of human development, but the brain still needs moments of balance. Just as the body needs movement and rest, the mind needs stimulation and recovery. Touching a tree every day is a small reminder to give the brain a moment of peace. It is a chance to step away from constant noise and reconnect with something simple and natural. In only a few seconds, you can create a moment where your mind slows down, your attention becomes sharper, and you remember that your brain was designed not only to process information, but also to experience the world around you. Imagine walking through a forest thousands of years ago. The air is fresh, the ground is soft beneath your feet, and everywhere around you are living things moving through natural rhythms. Trees are not just objects in the background, they are part of the environment that shaped human survival for millions of years. Before cities, screens, and artificial lights became part of our daily lives, humans spent almost all of their time connected to nature. Our brains, our senses, and even our stress responses developed in a world filled with forests, rivers, sunlight, and living landscapes. Today, many people live surrounded by concrete, artificial sounds, and constant digital stimulation. But deep inside our biology, there is still a connection to the natural world. When you stand beside a tree and place your hand on its bark, something interesting happens. You are not just touching a piece of wood. You are interacting with a living organism that has been growing, adapting, and responding to its environment for years, sometimes even centuries. The human brain is incredibly sensitive to its surroundings. It constantly collects information from the world around us and adjusts our body accordingly. The sounds of leaves moving in the wind, the patterns of branches, the smell of the forest, and the feeling of natural surfaces can send signals to the brain that we associate with safety and calm. These signals are different from the ones created by traffic, notifications, deadlines, and modern stress. Think about a time when you entered a quiet, natural place and immediately felt different. Your breathing may have slowed. Your shoulders may have relaxed. Your thoughts may have become clearer. This reaction is not just imagination. It is the result of a deep relationship between humans and the environments in which we evolved. Trees have been part of human life since the beginning. They provided shelter, food, tools, and protection. They represented stability and survival. Our ancestors depended on forests not only physically but also emotionally. A forest was a place of discovery, safety, and connection. Even though modern life has changed dramatically, our nervous system still recognizes many of the same natural patterns. This is why a simple action like touching a tree can feel surprisingly meaningful. It creates a moment where the human body slows down and reconnects with something older than technology. In a world where people are constantly rushing from one task to another, this small interaction creates a pause. It reminds the brain that it is part of a larger living system. The science of our connection with nature is still being explored, but one thing is becoming clearer: humans are not separate from the natural world. We are a product of it. The same way our bodies need sunlight, movement, and clean air, our minds also benefit from moments of connection with living environments. Touching a tree every day may look like a simple habit, but behind that simple action is a powerful idea. Sometimes the things that help us feel balanced are not new inventions. Sometimes they are ancient connections that we have forgotten. A tree does not demand our attention. It does not send notifications. It does not rush us. It simply exists, and by placing our hand on it, we remember that we exist too. When you place your hand on the rough surface of a tree, it may seem like nothing special is happening. There is no loud sound, no sudden change, and no obvious reaction. But beneath that simple moment, your body is constantly receiving information. Touch is one of the most powerful ways humans interact with the world. It is not just a physical sensation. It is a communication system between your environment and your nervous system. Your skin contains millions of tiny sensors that detect pressure, temperature, texture, and movement. When you touch something, these sensors send electrical messages through your nerves to your brain. The brain then interprets those signals and decides how your body should respond. A soft touch from a loved one, the warmth of sunlight, or the feeling of natural bark can all create different responses inside the nervous system. The nervous system has two important modes that influence how we feel and function. One mode prepares the body for action, often called the stress response. It increases alertness, raises heart rate, and prepares us to deal with challenges. This response is useful when we need to solve problems or react quickly. But in modern life, many people remain stuck in this state because of constant pressure, information overload, and daily worries. The other mode is the recovery state. This is when the body focuses on relaxation, digestion, repair, and restoration. Simple experiences that create calm signals can help the body move toward this balanced state. Spending time in nature, slowing your breathing, and engaging with natural surroundings are examples of activities that may support this shift. Touching a tree can become a powerful moment of awareness because it combines several calming experiences at once. You feel a natural texture beneath your hand. You notice the temperature of the bark. You become aware of your surroundings. Instead of focusing on future problems or past events, your attention moves into the present moment. This is one reason nature-based practices have gained interest in scientific research. Researchers have studied how exposure to natural environments may influence stress levels, mood, and mental recovery. While touching a tree alone is not a magical cure for every problem, it represents a simple way to slow down and create a healthier relationship with your surroundings. There is also something unique about touching a living organism. A tree is not a manufactured object. It is a complex biological system that grows, adapts, and responds to its environment. When you place your hand against its surface, you are making physical contact with another living structure that has its own rhythms and processes. The modern world often separates us from natural experiences. Many people spend hours touching glass screens, keyboards, and artificial materials. Our nervous system evolved in a world of natural textures, sounds, and environments. Reintroducing these experiences into daily life may help create moments of balance. A 1-minute habit of touching a tree is not about believing in magic. It is about understanding how powerful simple sensory experiences can be. The nervous system listens to the signals around us. When we give it signals of calm, connection, and awareness, we create an opportunity for the body and mind to return to a more balanced state. Sometimes the most effective ways to support our well-being are not complicated techniques or expensive solutions. Sometimes they are simple actions that reconnect us with the natural world and remind our nervous system what calm feels like. In a world where people are constantly searching for complicated solutions to improve their health, sometimes the most powerful habits are the simplest ones. We often believe that positive changes require expensive equipment, advanced technology, or complicated routines. But nature reminds us that small actions repeated consistently can have a meaningful impact on our daily lives. Touching a tree every day is one of those simple practices that can reconnect us with the natural world and create a moment of calm in an increasingly busy life. The beauty of this habit is its simplicity. It does not require a special location, a large amount of time, or any complicated preparation. A tree in a park, a garden, or even a quiet outdoor space can become a reminder to slow down. For just a minute, you can step away from the speed of modern life and focus your attention on something real and living. When you place your hand on a tree, you create a moment of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without being controlled by constant thoughts and distractions. Many people spend their days thinking about what happened yesterday or worrying about what might happen tomorrow. This creates a mind that is always moving. A simple interaction with nature gives the brain permission to pause. Feel the texture of the bark beneath your hand. Notice the temperature of the surface. Listen to the sounds around you. Observe the movement of leaves and the feeling of being outdoors. These small observations bring your attention back to the present. They remind the brain that it does not always need to be solving problems or responding to demands. The power of this daily habit comes from repetition. One moment of connection with nature may seem small, but repeated every day, it can become a meaningful ritual. Humans are shaped by the habits they practice regularly. Just as small unhealthy choices can create negative effects over time, small positive actions can build a stronger foundation for well-being. Touching a tree can also serve as a reminder of patience. Trees do not grow overnight. They develop slowly, season after season, year after year. In a society that values speed and instant results, trees represent a different lesson. They show us the importance of steady progress, adaptation, and resilience. This simple practice can also encourage people to spend more time outdoors. Many people today spend most of their hours indoors, surrounded by artificial environments. Creating a daily connection with nature can motivate us to walk more, breathe fresh air, and become more aware of the environment around us. The goal is not to believe that touching a tree will solve every problem or replace healthy lifestyle choices. Instead, it is about recognizing the powerful relationship between humans and nature. Our bodies and minds developed alongside the natural world, and reconnecting with that world can support a sense of balance. A tree does not ask for anything from us. It does not demand attention, productivity, or perfection. It simply stands there, growing quietly through changing seasons. When we touch it, we create a small moment of connection with something larger than ourselves. In just 60 seconds, a simple action can become a reminder to slow down, breathe, and reconnect. The science behind nature, the psychology of attention, and the biology of human connection all point toward the same idea. Sometimes the healthiest habits are not the ones we add to our lives, but the ones that bring us back to what we have always been connected to.